Hola.
All right. Now, if this thing is actually recording, this is repairing the Star Trek abortion
Oh,
that
we're
was
doing that
last
one
Friday
first?
night. Why?
Cool.
What's the other
Pet Shop Boys.
one? Can't do that yet because I need a little speaker right here reminding me.
Okay.
Hello.
It's recording. I heard it go.
All right, so let's talk about a very good episode, which was.
I didn't love that episode.
Do you remember the episode?
The Romulan one.
Yeah, but what's the
Check my
name? I've
brain.
forgotten.
Let
It's
me check
out of
my.
my brain.
Let me check my brain.
Watch me enjoy this song.
Star Trek original series EP list.
Oh, good. There's an asshole outside making a bunch of
Room,
noise.
room. I remember it's super far ahead. Balance of Terror.
Balance of Terror. That's it. Thank you. Now, why this episode is so important, number one, is it sets up a ton of shit.
Mm-hmm.
You finally see the Romulans. They've said they haven't seen the Romulans in over 100 years. And if you remember, when Jonathan Archer saw the Romulans,
He didn't
he never
see
got to
them.
see them. They wouldn't show their face.
Mm-hmm.
So they were smart about that. So what has happened is the Romulans have come up with a cloaking device,
That's new technology?
apparently.
Okay.
So what's happening is there's this big line. They show an excellent graph for us idiots out here in the audience, but they show a map with a line all the way through it, and there's these little dots,
Mm-hmm.
and those are all Federation star bases to make sure nobody crosses that line, or
Mm-hmm.
vice versa, because they said they had a treaty, and if anybody crosses that line, it's immediate war.
It's the neutral zone.
It is the neutral zone, and now we know why exactly you do not cross that line.
It starts a war.
Instant war.
Mm-hmm.
So the Enterprise gets a message that one of the star bases is not responding, so they're heading over. They're like the space policemen.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Are they allowed to be in the neutral zone but not cross it?
How do you do that?
Because it's like this, like,
It's a dead area of space.
yeah, but it looks like this. So let's say a
Right.
ship was here and another ship was here. Is that okay?
Not a battleship or a military ship. So like
Okay.
cargo people can have permission.
Yeah, because it's a zone. It's not
Yeah,
just a
it's a big.
line.
It's miles long
Yeah.
that
I'm
you're not
saying,
supposed to be in. But if a military ship, if we were to go into the neutral zone, away from our star base, headed towards the Romulan Empire, you cross that line.
mm-hmm. That's the war.
It doesn't matter if you get in Romulan space. Once you cross the neutral zone,
Mm-hmm.
the line,
It's
that's it.
over.
You've done the wrong
Okay. Gotcha.
thing. But other ships can go in. Trade ships,
Yeah,
cargo, whatever.
whatever.
Right. Whatever the
So that wasn't a crazy question. You were acting like I was talking in another language. Okay.
It's just they really hit the button of why the so
Mhm.
that's new information for the series. The other thing it is the cloaking device.
Mhm.
No one has seen the Romulans in 100 years. I think is what Spock
Yep.
said. This is before he's actually onto that. They think when the second starbase goes out. Wait a minute.
Something's up.
Two on the neutral zone. It's kind of like when we had 9/11 and a plane crashed into one of the towers. Oh. And another plane crashed into the towers.
Like.
There's no way there's two.
Mhm.
Same thing here. Two star bases go out, so now they're really on fire.
Mhm.
They get a hold of the next star base, and that guy's saying they were attacked. They didn't get a very good look at it.
Mhm.
And of course, this is another episode where there's a guy we don't know at the helm, and he's
Mhm.
all fired up.
Yep.
He's like, Romulans, you can't trust them. A family, I know what they're like, and their ships have these big birds
Yeah.
on them.
It was like his dad fought in the war
Which
against
doesn't make sense because it would have been
Romulans.
100 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
Grandfather or family or whatever.
Something.
So he's constantly nudging the captain,
Mhm.
uh, really speaking out of turn. They go to the third star base. They can't stop it. They watch it explode.
Yep.
Now Kirk is really torqued off.
Mhm.
They pick up a transmission, Spock does,
Mhm.
that's encoded. figures it out. I don't understand how he did this.
I don't know either.
And got a hotline to inside the Romulan ship. Like
Mm-hmm.
they got a hold of their camera or something.
Something.
See, they're all standing around like some computer thing, like a almost like
I think so too.
but the back is towards the camera, so you're like, oh.
We don't see who they are.
He turns. It looks like Spock.
Yep, he's got the ears, is what you mean.
Well, haircut, ears,
Yeah.
complexion, and that guy on the helm comes.
Yeah, because he thinks Spock is a spy.
Right, but he's also like, oh, that's what they look like. We've had a spy on the ship before, and Spock actually plays it pretty cool.
Yeah, he's like,
He's like,
no.
okay, go ahead. Even though that guy's totally insubordinate,
Mm-hmm.
Spock is the first officer.
Mm-hmm.
You do not mouth off to the first officer.
Yep.
This guy.
Yeah, and immediately Kirk is like, ah, he's fine.
Well, because Kirk is like, this is my brother.
Yep.
You don't need to tell me. You're never going to convince me he's a spy.
Yep.
So don't even bother.
Don't even bother.
With this brand new helmet. Sort of, I think it's sort of based on World War II racism.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a bunch of Japanese living here.
Mm-hmm.
They attacked Pearl Harbor. So we were like, actually rounded them all up and
Mm-hmm.
put them in concentration. American citizens.
Oh, I know.
So that's sort of what this mentality of the guy at
the helm is, yeah.
And I'm sure Gene Roddenberry was like, see,
Mm-hmm.
Captain Kirk, on the other hand, is like, you're
crazy. And the whole point is that hypothetically in this situation, Spock is not the Japanese one. Just like
right. Well, he's not a threat. Just because he's the same race, well, even though he's not.
They're not the same.
That's the analogy.
It's sort of, I would think of like how everybody thinks that all Asian people look the same. You know, it would be two different things.
Except that.
Oh, okay.
In the episode, Spock says, I would surmise that these are Vulcans because a group of Vulcans left Vulcan and created their own thing.
Yeah, but they kind of developed on their own.
They developed on their own because they were the Remans.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, it's Romulus. Remember what the name is. Romulus and Remus. So the planet must be called Remus, and people are called Remans.
Okay.
Are they?
I don't know. I don't.
Romulans?
I don't know. I don't care enough about Romulans to know.
So Spock is saying, no, it's not just a coincidence. These people definitely come from, or in part or half or whatever, is our aggressive side of the Vulcans that couldn't manage their feelings. Vulcans do.
Yep.
So the guy on the helm is not. His jumping to conclusions is certainly a problem. His insubordination is a problem, but it's not completely 100% off.
Mm-hmm.
So we get that revelation. Yeah. Oh my God, the Romulans are almost the same race. Although it turns out, we later find out the Vulcans and the Romulans hate each other.
Yeah.
I mean, really have a bug up their ass.
Yep.
Romulans want to conquer Vulcan.
Yeah.
Maybe they're cousins.
I think they're like cousins.
But the mind blower is that guy turns around. Now, what did you notice about that guy?
That's Spock's dad.
It's Spock's dad in another season.
Yeah.
He is Sarek.
Yep.
Spock's father.
Yep.
I don't even know that we know that Spock is half human at this point.
Yeah, they said it in like the first episode.
Is that where something like
somebody said he has no emotion? It's like, actually, I'm half human. You know, I believe he said he had a distant relative who was human, which was actually his mother.
That's interesting.
Yeah, well, also, I don't think they figured out that they wanted to have the parents directly.
Perhaps, but I'm thinking they like this guy's performance so much, they're like, you're Spock's dad, you're too good to let go.
Yeah.
So then what happens is, the chase is on.
Mm-hmm.
The Romulan warbird cloaking device. Spock quickly figures out, because they saw it for just a second before it fired, and I mean in record time,
Mm-hmm.
that it must only be able to fire when it's uncloaked. So there's such a tremendous amount of energy that is used to cloak the ship
Mm-hmm.
that you can't do both.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you're going to find it. And then they figure out some way to track the ship, like displacement of space or something. Bless you.
I did that right in the mic
You did. I
too.
watched you.
Well, I was
And you got
trying.
the mic upside down, I think.
Well, I had to clip it.
Okay, well, I hope it's picking you up.
Yeah, we did a test. Remember?
You had it upside down? Oh, well, I must be.
Oh.
So anyway, the chase is on because it looks like the Romulan ship is headed. So here are the facts. Romulans cross the neutral zone,
Mm-hmm.
destroy 3 star bases
Mm-hmm.
while using the cloaking device. Now we're going back home to say, hey, guys, they're weak.
Mm-hmm.
They can't figure out our cloaking device. We need to conquer them. Say that.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody weak, they conquer.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk has got to stop that Romulan ship from getting. Otherwise, it's intergalactic
So,
war.
in order to do that, he's got to go past. The guys are going.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. That comes way later.
Okay.
Because he chases them. They say he's got 20 or 30 minutes to catch them before they hit the neutral zone.
Mm-hmm.
So they're following. They do something that I don't fully understand.
Okay.
They somehow shadow.
Yeah, the mirror thing.
Right. And so the Romulans can pick the ship up, but think it's their reflection.
Mm-hmm.
But the commander is too smart and knows no.
Yeah, both captains are smart. That's the whole thing.
Right. And he calls it the Earth ship. He doesn't know what's They have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Earth ship is what they know. So Spock figures out a way to track the ship by the displacement. I'm not 100% sure how he figured that out
Science
so quick.
stuff.
Right. I don't know if it was their
He,
tailpipe or.
he probably knew it so quickly because Vulcans have more information.
Well, that you had to get to it
Yeah.
because you're running out of time. So it basically becomes a chase
Mm-hmm.
to the neutral zone. And they figure out that the Enterprise can move much faster
Mm-hmm.
because their cloaking, again, is drinking
Mm-hmm.
and they can't show themselves. So at some point, Commander decides to make some evasive maneuvers to see if the shadows, but somehow they still stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
All while this is going on, is the guy at the helm is sizzling,
Mm-hmm.
and he keeps throwing out little passive aggressive statements. But they have a special meeting on what to do because they're chasing this guy,
Mm-hmm.
and this rabble rouser goes, "They
Mm-hmm.
cannot get across."
Yeah.
I agree.
Because the whole thing.
You cannot show
Yeah,
weakness.
because otherwise it's going to show that, oh, they can't get us. So in order to fight, it shows that they got power, so maybe they won't try to come take
Oh yeah, if
over.
the ship, if their best ship they've ever made disappears, they're
Mm-hmm.
not going to attack you.
Yep.
They're going to want to figure out. So those are the stakes,
Mm-hmm.
and they play this little cat and mouse game. And they have at one point, because there's no way to see the ship, Kirk says, "Just start firing." And what's funny to me is I don't know which version you watched. Did you watch the new graphic version or the
New
old one?
graphic version.
I watched the old one. I watched the beta.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same little kind of light show you get.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they show that's the same clip when they
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, now do it this way. And it's the same one throughout
Yeah.
the entire episode. That effect shot they had to use
Yeah.
firing blindly actually does something.
They get them once.
They get them. Not enough to break the cloak, but they're now
They're hurt.
the Romulan commander's he's torqued off,
Mm-hmm.
saying this guy's pretty smart.
Just shooting.
So what he does is, I guess one the damage a beam falls and kills his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
What did you notice about the best friend? He is the original Doctor in the Cage pilot.
Oh, really? I did not notice that.
Yep. Now he's the best
Dead.
friends with the commander.
Yeah.
They pull the thing off him and he's like bleeding out and stuff. calls him the Centurion, his best friend. I don't know
Mhm.
what that means, but he dies from his injuries from the beam. So the commander says, "All right, throw out all of our essentially trash
Mhm.
and throw this Centurion body,"
Yep.
thinking the Earthship will think they blew up. And
Mhm.
Kirk flies in, he sees it, he's like, "Oh, great, got some debris." Spock immediately, "Not enough there.
Nope.
Forget it."
Forget it. Shut
Like,
up. Sit down.
okay. I may be confused. That may be the first or second time because they tried the trash trick twice.
Yeah. True.
Kirk goes back to shadowing the ship.
Mhm.
They go into like a nebula thing where the instruments don't work so great.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, the guy goes, "We lost him, sir." Kirk goes, "Quickly, turn."
Mhm.
And sure enough, the Romulan commander flips his ship over on the Enterprise. And the Romulans have this weapon that is a giant energy ball.
Mhm.
And anything that it hits is smoked.
Yep.
I mean, even the Enterprise will be smoked. Kirk gets the ship in full, he calls it emergency warp, which
Mhm.
I've never heard of. This is a new thing. But he's flying backwards
Mhm.
in an emergency warp. And here comes this energy ball, and it's getting closer. And you're watching the tension, getting closer and closer. And then all of a sudden, that thing runs out of gas. And it just
Mhm.
goes.
He like took a guess that it has a range. Like it can
He was
only go
guessing
so
that?
far. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he was just trying to get away from
Oh no. He was like, I took an educated guess and was like, I bet it has a
it.
range.
So he scored because
Yep.
he was right.
Yep.
Now Kirk can follow the Romulan ship and stay just out of range and still attack them.
Yep.
And that's what starts happening. And the commander realizes the Enterprise can stay out there and just keep pounding them.
Mhm.
Eventually, the Enterprise, I think this is where you're talking about where they cross the neutral zone.
Yeah, because the captain had a choice to make. I think the whole thing was they sent a message to the starbase and they weren't responding. So he's like, I'm just gonna do it.
Cross the neutral.
Yeah.
Starfleet.
Yeah.
Only Starfleet can get permission. Remember, they were told they're expendable.
Yeah.
And whatever you do not start, World War III or whatever you're going to call it, or a
Yeah.
galactic war with Romulans. So Kirk makes the decision to cross the neutral zone. His
Yeah.
authority, he crosses the neutral zone. Yes, the Romulans crossed it first, but those weren't his orders. So now
Mhm.
here's Kirk again. He's running his own program. He's not following
Mhm.
orders. He's a cowboy. They catch up to the Romulan ship. They start shooting it. The Romulan ship is going to explode. He gets in communication with the Romulan commander. "I'm not leaving the ship. I'm going to die."
Yeah. Like that's not how we do it over here.
Right.
I think is what he said.
But also, I'm thinking he doesn't want to be captured, and the
That too.
humiliation of
Having to go back with nothing.
destroyed the best ship the Romulans had to offer. Apparently, they wouldn't understand.
Mhm. I had a feeling.
So he dies. Then they have like a little chat at the end. Did you get any of what the chat meant?
Because at the very beginning of the episode, two people were getting married.
Right, I forgot
Two people are getting married. They
about. Did
get
one of them die?
interrupted to go set up the thing. Oh yeah, you missed a big part. The whole part where there were two dudes, the rabble rouser who didn't like Spock, and then the guy who was getting married at the beginning. They were in the weapons area, and something started exploding. Some purple gas, I
Right,
think it
that I
was,
remember.
started getting in, and then Spock runs back and
I remember
saves
that.
them.
He's Kirk is saying fire, and no one. This is the first time I've seen that they can't fire from the bridge.
Yeah,
Apparently, there's another room that does the firing.
yeah,
Yet when they fire, it seems to be immediate. So I'm not sure about that human lag.
whatever.
Makes no sense. But yeah, that's where they go. So one of them dies.
The guy who was getting married at the beginning dies.
What about the girl?
The girl goes to the chapel that they have on board, and then Kurt comes in and like gives his condolences, and she's like, oh. And then it ends.
Somehow. So that's what happens. When we're explaining it, You didn't care for it?
Not my favorite.
How many Romulan pointed ears would you give this episode? One to five.
Give it a 3.
Three?
It was
All
still a
right.
good
All right.
episode, even if I didn't personally like. It's not like one of my faves.
I'll give it a 4 set of
Mm,
ears, just because it was so well acted. You
yeah,
really did have, you really have a lot of lore happening
it's a good episode. It's
and
just it
good
wasn't my
stuff,
thing.
and so much information. Star bases, the
Mm-hmm.
cloaking device.
All that.
I thought they did a very good job. Everything in this episode. Very foundational episode. Lots of new information.
And by the way, the rabble rouser getting saved by Spock is what made him soften up on him.
Well, that guy,
He was like,
at the
"You
very least, he
saved
needs
my
some
life."
kind of discipline.
Oh yeah, but the whole thing was he learned that Spock wasn't so bad after all.
Right, but when you got a chain of command, it's not your business to give your opinions on what's
Do you remember when we played that Star Trek game and I went off the rails and did my own thing? I was the Kirk of that game.
and I was there telling
You gotta
you,
listen
follow
to
the
your
rules.
commander. Meanwhile, he was eaten by a parasite or whatever.
Well, listen, if you know that, then yeah. But also, she was the first officer. That's her job.
Yeah, but then I became the captain because I'm great.
Helmsman, is not his job to pass judgment on the commander.
I had to look out for my crew, man. That was a fun game, by the way. Can we just talk about that?
That was a fun game. And you know what? There's a Star Trek Online game that I keep threatening to play.
I tried playing it
Is it hard?
on the computer. So once you get past the tutorial, I didn't know how to play. Like I did the tutorial and I was like, okay, like what's my mission or whatever, and I couldn't figure it out.
Because there's a guy on YouTube called Something Badger,
Mhm.
and he does skirmishes with different kinds of shit. And it's
Mhm.
pretty interesting. I'll have to show you.
Yeah, I want to try playing it on the Xbox sometime because I think I played it on the computer and I
It's
hooked up.
supposed to be better on the computer.
Oh, I hooked up my Xbox controller to the computer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Same thing. Because the
Well,
mouse, I think, would make it easier. Because the
nah.
thing I was watching this guy say, he's got the enemy ship that he's targeting and all of
Mhm.
their systems, his status over here, and what his systems are.
Problem is, I think it's a little too open world for me. I'd rather have like,
He's doing skirmishes.
yeah,
So that means it's just whatever he programs into the computer. It's like a training simulator.
yeah. I believe I played as a Vulcan. You get to make your own character and you get to choose
How do you like them
their
apples?
species. I played as a Vulcan
Look at you,
because
very
I'm
logical.
cool.
All right, well, I'm going to end this one. So we're sorry
Yeah.
for what happened last Friday. If this is the past, this is one day after Father's Day. It's a
Yeah.
Monday,
So
2:15.
we're doing this episode. I'm gonna be on a trip. When I get back from the trip, I need to set up the Wi-Fi guys because they don't know. The Wi-Fi guys decided to show up while I was at work, so they didn't fix the Wi-Fi.
So
So
we're going to have to watch the next episode. We'll be back by next
I should be able to get because I'm gonna be back Sunday.
Friday. Mm-hmm.
So I have that whole week to figure out the internet
Okay, cool.
before.
That's what we'll do then.
I'll let you know if it doesn't work out.
So thank you. This is the first time we're setting up with these microphones because this phone wouldn't use the old ones. I'm not 100% sure if the camera's aligned. Hopefully this is good and we'll learn if it's bad.
Okay.
Okay.
Cue. End
That'll
it.
do. I will try.